kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills, nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. In the studio live with DJ Infinity. What up?
What's happening, people? How goes it? What it do?
First in studio one-on-one guest, because I've done one-on-ones with watch parties, but I've never done the one-on-one just straight up episode, normal episode like this. So I feel weird because my mic is not normal. But yeah, we're just set up here, ready to go. Getting ready to talk about some combat sports news and the UFC Fight Night event going on this weekend, UFC Saudi Arabia Fight Night 250. And it's a pretty damn good card, so I'm excited for that one. But Infinity decided that he was going to come down here and join me in person. So
Why not?
Hopefully everything sounds good. Everything looks good. I mean, we can see it on the TV up above, and it seems to look okay there. Haven't listened to sound, so hopefully the sound's okay. But this is all still set up from when I did the watch party, and I think that was okay. So
sounds good on the ears.
Yeah, hopefully we're good to go.
Yep.
How's it going,
dude?
You had a rough drive?
Man, traffic is bullshit. I got called into work last night, so I was at work until about 4:30 this morning, Arizona time.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was like a real call-in.
Yeah, I was there for some hours. So
holy shit.
I mean, money is money, I guess, but what's your soul worth? You know what I mean?
And you had to actually go somewhere?
Yeah, I had to physically go in.
Yeah.
Because, like, for people that don't know, I'm a first responder. So I have to physically be there. I can't log in the keyboard and be like, yeah, you look fucked up.
Yeah, you never know these days, like, what people are doing or how's it going. So, like, I definitely, when I get called in, I can call and find out if maybe I can, figure it out over the phone. But it's almost 100% of the time I have to go in. So,
some of my old jobs I could, but not this.
Yeah.
You have to physically be there if something happens. So,
my wife said, looks and sounds good. Thanks, babe. Appreciate that.
Awesome.
She's out in the living room watching us for the first few minutes, like a few other people I know do. They like to hear the life updates and stuff, and then they're like, I'm not that into MMA, so
right. Bye.
But that's okay. We appreciate the support regardless. Tuning in for the first few minutes, I'm happy with that. Just make sure you're subscribed. If you're here already, you probably are. But if you aren't, don't forget to do that. I don't have my social media going on down the bottom, but when we get to looking at the visuals and stuff, you'll see it on the screen. So don't forget to go follow me there. And go follow Infinity everywhere too. What do you got? Yeah,
we're making some progress. So the G-Cast is officially launched. That's my podcast, which I wanted to thank Big E, the Going Rounds crew, and I also want to thank the Tuppers, as Tommy calls it, technically unsound, because I've learned almost all of it between this group of guys. And I didn't start this until midsummer of last year, so it's been maybe 6 months, and I've got content on there right now. So pay it forward. Like, when you start learning stuff and someone else wants to learn it, it makes a huge difference. It don't cost you nothing. Like, I got some casts coming up that I want Big E to be on, whether he's in studio or remote. I prefer in studio, just so we can kick it and hang out.
I owe you a couple, man, so I'll be there at some point.
I drove for, according to Magic, it'd be 45 minutes.
45 minutes. It should have only taken you 30. But
right. Yeah. It was over 2 hours to get here because traffic went like 20 miles an hour for an hour. But anyway, we here. So I'm here, safe, happy, healthy, and I believe we have some beverages right here too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, here, cheers. Let's get this started. It's good. Mom in the chat. Hey, Mom. Said, good to see you. And
hola, Infinity. Buenas noches. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
She's probably just chilling. She does that too. She'll watch for the first few and then.
That's all good.
But yeah, I appreciate you.
Support is support, especially when it's family.
Yeah. Yeah. So with your podcast popping off, I mean, the only one left is Magic's, who just wants to stream here and there, but that's okay. He's not consistent, but at least he's doing something, and that's a step further than we were before. So
yeah, there's a market for everything. I mean, you just got to find your niche. Mine is supposed to be technology, but the last 2 episodes were about relationships. So
and they were good. They were really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, good conversation and good banter. That's what you need for a podcast.
The views are showing it too. Like, for someone just starting out, I think I have 20 something subscribers. One of them's got 50 plus views. The other one's got 30 plus views. So people are watching it.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's with you not even putting forth a full force of like promos or anything like you have. I mean, just to get going, that's good. That's good. So
yeah, most of that was word of mouth. So
yeah. And I mean, that's kind of what you need to start. Like I'm still there. I mean, I've been able to reach out to, other kinds of crowds because it's caught on here and there.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm still pretty small and pretty low level, but it's fun and it's something we like to do. So you can't complain too much about that.
Yeah. I'm not doing it for views. Views are nice to know it's not just me talking to the wall, but it's fun. If it takes off, awesome. If not, it's still a fun hobby.
Yeah. And I get stuck in the views. Sometimes I get stuck in, like, honestly, I gained like 7 subscribers over the past like week and a half, and then I dropped 3 out of nowhere. So it's like it's a grind, and
I think some of this algorithm is a little like crazy too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah.
Because I've gone up 4 and down 3 in the same day, and then log in like a couple hours later, and it's the same number.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like.
So with views, I've seen that a lot, but with subscribers, it's like usually if it goes up, then it either stays there for a while or something drops. And this time it was kind of weird the way that happened, though. So I was just like, and I'm trying not to take it too personally, just like the trolls that like to jump on sometimes.
Oh, I'm waiting for him.
I haven't had any for a little bit. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but
I'm looking for him. Where you're at?
Haven't had them in a while, so who knows? We'll see where they jump out from. But the views and the subscribers and stuff, like if you're doing it just for that, I mean, it's tough. If you're doing it because you like to do it, then that's just a bonus. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, yes, I care about the views. Yes, I care whether people are enjoying my shit or not. Like, so, you don't see it on YouTube itself, but on some of the apps I use just to track things, you see the thumbs down sometimes, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then I'm thinking, I don't give a shit, because it's just probably some idiot that didn't like one thing I said or some stupid shit like that.
I look at it like, let's see them do better.
Yeah. Yeah, and on top of that, especially with my stuff, it's MMA. So like, you have fickle fans out there that like to talk shit and like to jump on you for any stupid reason.
It's a niche market.
Yeah. So I mean, with you, especially with the couple that you've released recently, I mean, that kind of hits on a different level because it's a little more personal, it's a little more intimate, it's a little more on the straighter kind of level side instead of the peaks of people talking shit and stuff like that. Of course, they can come in and be like, "Oh, look at this dude talking like a bitch" or something. You know what I mean? But
they can say what they want.
Exactly. But I mean, when you're engaged in listening and talking to somebody, and you're watching this play out, kind of like they're watching us right now. Yeah. Like, that's all. I mean, all you can do is enjoy it. Sit back and enjoy it. And if you don't like something they say, that's fine. That's what the chat's there for. You can go back and forth. It's all good.
These are
like
live.
To engage.
Yours is live. Mine's live. Yeah. So we like to talk to the people that are watching.
Yeah.
It's engaging.
And I try to make sure I have that popped up somewhere where I can see it and I can engage with them. And, I stop in the middle of my stuff just to engage with whoever's, commenting, even if it's off of topic or something like that. But, I do my best just because I'm like, I'm not this big time thing that I can't pay attention to the comments because there's so much, you know what I mean?
Makes a difference.
So enjoy it while it's small, because if I ever blow up, I'm not going to pay attention to those comments anymore.
I mean, if you get to that point, you have a moderator just sitting here typing for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, hey, whatever.
But again, I don't even care about all that. It is what it is. I'm too old to give a shit about making my life about that. But it'd be nice. It'd be nice.
I hear you. I'd rather do this than get called in.
Yeah, exactly. Getting called in, having to just all the stupid day-to-day grind bullshit. Yep. But I mean, this is just fun, and it's nice to be able to do this with people that like to do it as well. And I don't have too many people that in my personal circle that are into doing things like this, or that have expressed any interest in doing these kinds of things. So that's why we all lean on each other on the Technically Unsound podcast. There's 4 or 5 of us. Yep. And sometimes 5 because Cremo's in and out. But just being there and talking to each other and having a good time and sharing information and ideas and stuff like that. We may butt heads here and there, but for the most part, we have a good time, and it passes the time well.
At the end of the day, we're all there for the same purpose.
Exactly.
Uplift each other, play with our equipment, because we all like technology. We all like equipment, so why not put it to use?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. Is all this does require equipment and gear.
Yep.
And if you don't have a team to show you how to do all that or do it all for you, then you got to do it all yourself, which means you got to learn.
Then you end up with monocaster directly.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Sometimes you find out the hard way that that it's not the best route to go the cheap way. I've learned myself.
I definitely have. You can see the difference in when I started and 6 months later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean,
and obviously in here too. I mean, we got 3-4 screens, a TV, roadcaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is just small changes like me changing this setup, I feel like made a world of a difference. I couldn't imagine how we would do this just sitting out here in the free air open. Like, would we look at each other? Like, what are we going to rub knees? Like, it's going to be weird. You know what I mean? So we got the table here. We can do other things. It just feels better. It feels nice. So, what other kinds of things have you bumped into while?
So I've learned a few things. Like there's some mistakes in the last two. The views are great, but there's some mistakes. So as an example, there's different types of microphones. There's cardioid pattern. There's different patterns and types. So there's condenser, and then non-condenser. Yeah. So one's powered, one's not. Okay, no big deal. But the pickup pattern. So whenever she would turn to talk to me, it was picking up on my lav because that one was a powered. So I'm like, all right, I get it. So I tried to like bring the gains down, but there was still echo because she's a foot away.
Yeah.
All right. Noted. Next time I'll use my other mics.
Right.
So just little stuff like tweaks and polish and stuff. But I only have 6-8 videos out that are public. So
exactly. And no matter how much time you have in the background, you never know, and it never counts until you do it live.
That or part, you do live.
It, or just making the video. Then you tend to find out then all of the stuff, But that's the thing, we do it live all the time, and that makes things it's a whole different story.
Pre-recorded, you could punch in, change lighting, move this here, put that there, and all they see is the finished product. They don't see how you got there.
Yeah.
So because yours are live all the time.
Yeah.
I think there was one that I could think of that wasn't live. That was like Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, usually.
But other than that,
unless I have something happening where I can't do it live, I'm doing it live. So
I was about to be doing it from the car, sitting in that traffic, like, all right, here we go, mobile.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of why I have these mics like this, and that's why I like this setup better, because, we have the mics pointed different directions. Mm-hmm. That's the type of mic this is. You have to be in front of it.
Exactly.
This is kind of a small room for this kind of stuff, and it's not really treated like it should be.
It's treated more than some people, though.
True.
There's some people with hard walls all the way around, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, but, it's not fully done, so, like, just working with that sometimes, with the echoes and the sound bouncing off the walls and stuff. But the good thing is having a good, middle, like upper middle level tier microphone helps.
Yep.
And having the right equipment. I didn't have the right equipment before, so when I tried to do stuff before with multiple mics, it just didn't work.
It makes a huge difference. So one of the things in the next 2 days, I'm gonna show E how to put some monetization on this site without adding commercials. So like we're talking about the mics right now. These pod mics, they reject from the back, which is perfect the way we're sitting. So me talking towards him, you won't hear it on his channel. Him talking towards me, same thing. So we can put a link in the bottom in his description. And if you click on that link, it'll take you to the product that we're using. And even if you don't go to that product directly, if you get anything else off of Amazon that you found while you're on the link, he also can make a couple pennies off of it. So it helps everybody and helps the channel. So that's part of the pay it forward in my mind, because I just learned how to do it a few days ago.
Yeah. And to get monetized on YouTube takes a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of views, a lot of subscribers, and a lot of that's out of reach for smaller channels. Yep. So it makes it difficult. I know they've changed it up a little bit here and there to make it a little easier, but it's still out of reach of a lot of people. That
1,000 and something to start.
I mean, if you think about the amount of channels that and people that have big channels, it's like it's really not a lot compared to the amount of channels that are out there in overall. So it's just one of those things. It's tough, and it's hard to get out there and get it all done.
Yeah, it's getting saturated because now everything decent gear is so cheap. Anybody could kind of, all right, I got $2,000. Now I have a whole studio. What the hell? It didn't used to be that way before.
Right.
But.
Yeah, I mean, these mics are $100.
Right.
So I mean,
and they're good.
Yeah, and they're damn good for $100, especially when you think of a Shure SM7B that's like $400 or $500.
Yep.
You know, and that's the top of the line, what everybody uses. You know, industry standard type shit. But that, I mean, you don't need that. These are becoming industry standard
They are.
because you see these on every goddamn podcast.
Yep, they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
And they're cheap. Like, they sound good. They're $100 on average.
Yeah.
You know, you got the rare one.
And
but...
I got this one. And this one wasn't even $100, and it's you know, it's not even the regular shit. So
I haven't found it since. I looked at it. I was like, son of a...
I got lucky. I think I paid like $70 for this one, which is insane.
That nobody else really has.
Never see these motherfuckers on sale ever.
Nope.
So I got lucky, and it was red and black. It's my colors, obviously, GRP. You know, I mean, that's my old sign, but it's still red and black, you know? So
Yeah, it is, huh?
Yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of one of those things that fell in line well, and I liked it a lot. So, and I needed a fourth mic because I have 4 channels, so I can have 4 people in here if I really wanted to, if you know, felt like the need to. So
it worked out.
But speaking about monetization and sponsorships and stuff like that, we got to hit the smelling salts because this guy had a nice long trip, and he's got to wake it the fuck up so we can get to talking about some more stuff. But I'm going to hit that. It might be over your face. Oh, damn. My
That's
bad.
all good.
I didn't mean to do that, but
All I
Noctane
see is
smelling
this.
salts. Yeah. We got the smelling salts here. We're going to hit those in just a second. Hit that QR code, though. I didn't mean to cover up Infinity.
Nah, it's all good.
But
cover me up when I hit that.
I
'Cause
should
I'm used to the
have
black
moved
cap.
it to the middle. Oh, yeah. Well, and this is a newer bottle.
No,
so,
no, I'm keeping that over
yeah.
here.
We got the wind a little bit. It'll get you a little.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. Don't worry. It's harsh at first. It only lasts for a second.
Yeah, I heard that before.
There you go. Yep. Be careful.
Yeah.
So the red cap is the most potent. You see us doing this on the watch parties.
You see them doing the red cap.
Yeah.
Lot of mercy.
He's got the black cap. That's the mid-range, mid-potency. Ooh, he got himself right there. So it hurts for a second or two, and then when it starts to go away, you're nice and alert. With your eyes watery.
I think I just drooled a little bit.
You might.
Oh my God, there's a big difference in the red and black.
But this is a newer bottle. Because I do have a sponsorship. I do get a bottle here and there, but I did buy a second bottle because I kept forgetting my bottle in here, or else I'd forget it out there.
Because
So
it likes punishment. That's why.
yeah, I do like punishment too. But this kind. But yeah, go get yourself a bottle here. I'll get you that QR real quick. I'll let
Cover me
Infinity
up.
get his eyes right. But hit that QR code. Thank you to Noctane Smelling Salts. Their website is really nice to look at. It's really easy to follow, and it's really informative. So go check it out. Thank you to Noctane for waking us up. I'll have to take a little drink after that one.
I probably won't taste it, but thank you for
He
destroying
got
my
a good one.
sinuses. Yeah, that fan didn't do shit for this one. Oh God.
Yeah, so you know, I just that's one thing that's cool. You know, a friend of a friend who has his own smelling salt company sponsored me, and that's not something you come by a lot. You know, and I'm not, you know. And I'm not complaining at all, but it's not like I get a ton for this. I don't get paid in cash or nothing. They're sponsoring me to get, you know, maybe drive traffic to their website and sell some product. And they have my name and my QR code on the bottom of their website to drive traffic over here to get me some viewers and stuff. I feel like it's a pretty fair trade. I get a bottle of Noctane every once in a while, and I'm good to go. And it's a product I like and use all the time. So that's just some, you know, small ways of getting things that you don't, you know, always need to pay for and stuff like that. It's just the beginning, hopefully.
Everything helps.
Because maybe I can just grow a little more and then get some other kind of sponsorships, and then that'll help me grow even more. Damn, his eyes are still
Don't
watering.
look at me.
You do got to be careful with the red cap.
I got a snoot full of death right
I've
there.
actually gotten to the point where I'm a little hesitant still, when before I used to dive right in.
I'm hesitating right now. I'm like, whoa. Yeah.
But I mean,
Jesus.
that should wake you up, and it'll keep you nice and alert. So
Wake the dead with that red cap. Black cap. Either white or black. But yeah.
yeah, to start with,
To
for
start.
sure, because you don't want to start with that red cap. It's high potency.
I've been doing it for 2 months, and I got it from them
Yeah.
through him. Yeah, it drove traffic, all right. It about
Yeah.
drove me into the traffic. Jesus Christ.
And now that's why I use it when I'm driving out of town for work and stuff.
Yeah.
Because man, I get I get tired and stuff, so it's got to wake me up.
No, I could see why. It's working.
Yeah. So what do you, I mean, what's your plan for the and for everybody out there that's wondering that might be here, it's normally here or whatever, we're just talking, you know, he's got his new podcast coming and I have questions, and this is the perfect time. We're going to go over this for a few more minutes, and then we'll get into the MMA and combat sports stuff. So yeah, just hang in there, but I'm curious and I think it's interesting.
It's all good. Reach one, teach one, right?
Yeah. So what kind of stuff are you looking at for upcoming?
So upcoming, I plan on, like I said, I was going to show E how to monetize yourself without a gigantic following. And anybody could use it, really. If you know how to fill out, you can either use a W-9, which is taxed to you as income, or you could use you could put under your LLC or S Corp or whatever you have for your personal finances. And they pay out monthly, and you get percentages of, God, my nose is jacked up. I'm trying not to snot all over the place. You get percentages of whatever's bought when they go through your link. It doesn't have to even be, if you put this mic on here and I went and bought a Rodecaster, you still get a percentage.
Oh, okay.
And it shows you at the top the percentage you get based on what you get.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. It took me 20 minutes, and half of that was just reading like terms of service because I didn't want to sign up for something to get stuck.
Yeah.
It cost me nothing. It cost me 20 minutes, maybe. It's awesome. So when everybody uses Amazon.
Right.
When you go to your Amazon page, you'll get what's called a site stripe. It'll be at the top of your page. Whatever you're looking at, you click that, it'll get a link. That link is directed to you. And that's how you get your monetization. Okay. And it'll show you who bought what. There's like an ID check, a social security check, but I mean, you're getting paid. So that's any company.
Yeah, I was going to say you need that no matter what. Yeah.
You could use your EIN if you're self-employed or whatever. So. Okay. I just started 2 days ago, but we're definitely going to test this theory. But the fact that I'm in there and I have less than 50 subscribers. Yeah. Say less. Exactly. I'm not going to lose money. So. Right.
Yeah, and it's worth it if you can take the time to set it up and get it going. That's all you need to do. So
yeah. It's not hard at all. And I want to do a show on it. Maybe I'll have one of the Unsound people, or maybe me and E will do it. Maybe this weekend. Okay. Maybe we can do a cast on my channel. Yeah. And I'll show you live. I can't show you all of it because some of it's got personal info, your social security and stuff, but I'll get you there.
Sounds good. Yeah, and I mean that's kind of our thing. We just involve each other and get each other involved in what we're doing and making sure that we're helping each other out the best we can. You know, I can help you with all the things that I've been able to do before, and then you've got this going. So it's just small things, the smallest of things that may not seem like it's necessary or even worth it. Sometimes you take the time to do it, and it turns out to be the best thing you can do. So
it adds up. It adds up quick. Yeah,
and a little bits here and there is always good, and whatever helps you out with everything. I mean, even if you make a couple $100 only after a while just to, buy something new for the studio. I mean, literally, it takes that from, taking it out of your pocket to do it. So, and you kind of earned it by, making sure you're doing all this stuff and getting it going. So yeah, it's a good idea.
Like I want to do a tour of my studio, and all the gear that I show in there, I'm going to put links at the bottom. So if anybody wants it to look or sound anything like that, here's your link. Go to that. And you could do the same thing.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because you're already doing it anyway. Yeah. So.
And you do see a lot of people doing that on their YouTube pages and stuff. So, I mean, and sometimes that's the easiest way to find something. Sometimes people click on the link, don't even realize that you're getting anything from it, but it's not hurting them to get it from that link. Exactly. It doesn't look at them negatively, or, it doesn't it doesn't reflect on them negatively at all. All it's doing is following one link. It's like, why not?
And once you're in there, it doesn't have to be that. Yeah. You could click on a link for a pod mic and end up getting, oh yeah, I need dog food and I need this. Yep. They're still getting something out of it. And it didn't cost you nothing. It didn't cost your guest anything.
Yeah. And there's people that are creatures of habit, and they'll go back and click the same link over and over, thinking it's just regular Amazon. And it's really your stuff, and you're getting.
And it is regular Amazon, but you're getting credit. Yeah. Because you drove them there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nothing sneaky or anything. It's all on the up and up. So
yeah, there's a button that you click. So on the top left of your stream, you'll see this may contain something ads. I forget what it says, but that's one button. Yeah, you don't even have to write anything. You click that, streams up, done. Yeah, because that's part of the terms of service. You just got to let them know, hey, there's a advertisement. Right. Okay, and Doesn't mean you have to have a commercial.
Yeah.
We can still do this whole cast and put that up in the top corner. Done deal.
Yeah.
So
what other kind of content are you looking at covering?
So I got that. We're talking about covering the studio. We're talking about doing a Super Bowl watch party because everybody has, I think it's on Fox this year.
I think so, yeah.
Everybody has that. Even if you just have an antenna plugged in the back, anybody can
Right.
pick that up. It's not like a pay-per-view event. So
Yeah.
anybody can watch, but my goal is to have the technically unsound, excuse me, that daggone salt, and going rounds on there. So we are kind of one and the same to an extent.
Yep.
So, E's on both, and I've been on both. So I want to have at least 4 or 5 of us on there. We'll broadcast it on my channel. Obviously, I can't show the big game.
Yeah.
But you can see our reactions similar to what he does for the MMA.
Yeah, it's just a watch party for the Super Bowl. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
that's pretty much it. And yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Hey, it's your channel, so I want to. But yeah, I mean, everybody can watch along with us. I'm going to share it between us, so we're on the same page. So if there is a delay, we see it at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you see score, we're all doing it at the same time. So yeah, that's the next 2 weeks worth of content, roughly.
Okay. I almost forgot about this. I was like, something's missing.
Yeah, that's why I got my.
Yeah.
Even though I can't taste anything right now.
It'll come back soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, be on the lookout for anything coming up from what your channel.
Yes.
What do you
The
got?
Gcast.
But what the name of your channel to get there?
Oh, I will put a link on here.
Okay.
Because right now it doesn't really match, so we're still ironing out some things.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But we'll get that out
so
there.
it's called the Gcast with Infinity. So you guys need to check that out. We'll put a link on here and drive some traffic over there and hopefully get you going even further.
Yep, because I put ads for yours, so
Right.
link's a link.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think I put you in the title of this. You can't see it there, but I think it's in there. Your ad is in there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I see it on here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're looking over there.
Yep. Well, so I can respond to.
Yeah.
Awesome. I see that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So go check out his channel, go subscribe, and be on the lookout for some more content coming up from all of us because we're all going to be on there and having a good time, and he's going to be doing his thing. So
Yeah. There'll be some beverages and maybe some food and some snacks, and it's 3-4 hours plus halftime. So
Yeah.
we'll be in and out, but it'll be fun.
yeah, it'll be a good time. And I mean, the Super Bowl is what it is, especially now as I bump the table, especially now with the teams that are in there. It's like I was kind of hoping for a better game,
Yeah.
but
Some people say the 49ers already got it, but I don't know. There's rumors everywhere. They
What do you
say
mean?
it was scripted. Have you heard that rumor yet?
the 49ers, they're not even in the
I
game.
mean, the Chiefs.
Okay.
My bad.
Oh
The
yeah,
Chiefs.
yeah. There's always the scripted and all that shit, especially from the logo. Honestly, I saw the thing about the logo like a week before the games happened, and then it actually turned out that way. So I guess I can understand why people believe that shit.
And the 3-peat and all that stuff.
And I mean, I don't know. I believe some of this stuff sometimes. I'm like, well, there's at least some substance there that you could grab onto, but then some of it's like, God, get the fuck
At
out.
the end of the day, we'll never know.
Yeah.
But it's entertainment. So
It is.
we'll still be watching regardless.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing is they're gonna get their viewers no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Some people don't like what's happening with the halftime show because they're Drake fans and Kendrick's in there. But to me, I mean, they're both great artists and they both have great music.
They
so
are, but
it is
Drake's
what it
string
is.
fell out a little bit.
Yeah,
Did you try
yeah.
to sue someone over battle rap? Dude,
yeah,
do you
for sure.
go back to Canada, son?
But here's the thing. It's kind of like everything else, like with Diddy and everything else. I mean, in the end, are you gonna turn off a Diddy song? You know what I mean? I'm not.
I already own him. He already got paid.
Yeah, it's like, who gives a shit? It's not like it's gonna affect him if you stop listening to his music.
If
Like
he
R.
puts one
Kelly
out, I probably
and
won't
all
buy
that
it.
shit.
But
Yeah.
R. Kelly got some of the millennials here now.
Yeah, exactly. So, it is what it is. But the shit happens. But the stuff, Michael Jackson stuff. People kept saying over and over again that they were gonna, not listen or not support it. Who gives a shit?
I mean,
It's
do
over.
you? But
Yeah.
the song's already out, paid. The person's dead and gone.
Yeah.
Like you. Okay.
Exactly. and it's not like YouTube where they're somebody who's on a YouTube channel. I can understand you saying, yeah, we're not going to watch that anymore.
Yeah, that can
That's
make a difference.
affected in real time.
Yeah.
But all these other guys, it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
So-
they've been paid.
Yeah. And your 1 or 2 streams ain't going to fucking make a difference. don't.
Nope. Even when you stream it, that's not even pennies on the dollar anymore.
Right.
So it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so that should be a good time. But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else? You got questions?
That's what's going on right now. You know, he's going to teach me how to set up the scene so I can have 4 or 5 people in the room. But I mean, even if we don't do it tonight, we can do it this week or next week. We can do that remote. So like I said, pay it forward. Whoever helps you, make sure you help them when you get to a spot where you can.
Yeah.
That's simple things. Like people forget that all the political stuff and everything else. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have some kind of empathy for your fellow person. Like we don't agree on half of the political stuff, but I drove 2+ hours to get down here to hang out and kick it and learn and hang out. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, be yourself, be a man or woman or whatever.
Yeah. And just fucking be a human.
That part.
mean, you don't have to be just fully represented by one thing or the other. It's like, just be open a little bit and fucking, I don't know, be aware of what's happening and don't just sit there and fucking judge everybody for everything. And that's the other thing with this stuff, you know, it's like, just because you just started doesn't mean that you don't have valuable information to offer me, and vice versa, you know? So
you've been doing it 2 years and now I'm gonna show you how to make money on it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and that's because I just didn't think that unless I monetized my channel, I didn't think there was really any other way. And I honestly wasn't worried about it for a while. But, you know, if
nobody has too much money, though.
Yeah. if it's a good, easy way to do it, then I'm down and I'll do it. So, but yeah, everybody has something to offer, you know, even you just have to be open to
that part,
being able to, you know, receive that information and actually make use of it. Yeah. And criticism.
Because, I mean, there's some things that is just what it is.
Yeah. And, you know, of course,
you got to be an ass about it.
Exactly. And you don't have to criticize every little thing.
Right.
But, you know, the little bits of criticism are good to, you know, keep you going and keep you honest. And I know I've gotten criticism for stuff that I do and I try to fix it, or I take a look at it and look deeply into whether or not it's really a problem.
My short intro was actually E's idea for people that didn't know. I have 2 different ones. One's a little over a minute. And one is like 46 seconds. And he was like, hey, I think, what if you try this and this? All right, cool, done. And there's like 20 views on a 40-second intro. It's not even under the shorts. So why not? All it took me is 5 minutes editing.
Yeah.
Why not? And it's more content. So.
Yeah. And then it shows, you know, it brings a little something like, hey, what's this intro for? You know, you kind of see a little bit of what's going on in that intro.
Yep.
So, you know, it's all informative and it all makes sense.
Looks like Tommy's got us on the big screen, too.
Oh, damn. Right on. All right. Well, I guess we can move into the combat sports and MMA portion of this.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's get into it. And I'm not going to have the background music going because we're going to be conversing about this whole thing while we're going. And I felt like it'd be a little distracting. But it's going to be a little weird for me not hearing the music because I'm used to it so much. But
if you want to play it, it's up to you.
No, I didn't even put it in. and everything's already set up.
Right.
So
it's all good.
But yeah, I was like, let's see how weird it is without it. Because last time I tried it without music, it was a little bit weird. But yeah, we're going to get into this. We're going to get started with some GFL, the draft that happened this past week. And, you know, I talked about it a little bit with all the teams and what was going to be happening with that. And I wasn't expecting it to go the way it went. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect from it because they just kept talking about the fact that, you know, it was going to be a draft. They have this pool of fighters that's like 400 plus fighters to draft from. And they were like, you know, not everybody's going to get drafted. You know, and you're going to see how it's going to wind up. Well, there were some big names involved. A lot of ex-UFC fighters, just a lot of big MMA names involved in the entire draft on the men's and the women's side in all divisions. So, and there's a few people that left the UFC just to go join the GFL. Now, granted, it was at the end of their career. It's you know, it's at the end where they're like, haven't been winning in the UFC, just haven't really done much there. So, but there's still big names in you know, in the fight scene in MMA. So for them to leave the UFC and go to this new organization that's offering a good amount of money, and a whole different kind of setup and possible ways of winning, possible ways of, you know, fighting, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that's weird, like how they do, not points, but like the rank by the country and stuff like that. I started reading about it because I don't know a whole lot about it. But I'm like, that could either work really well or be a disaster because it's all the big cities, right? It's like New York,
so
LA.
it's six different teams,
Right.
It's LA, Dubai, London, Miami, and New York. So those are going to be the representation for all the teams. And then they drafted to those teams. So if you notice in my thumbnail, I said, was it rigged? And the reason why I said that is because, first of all, they had an unfortunate thing happen, which for all of us that know what it's like to go live and to have something happen right before that live event happens, it's horrible, it's shitty, it sucks. And technical difficulties are always a pain in the ass. So, and you never know what's going to happen, right? They have a big production team or whatever, but they're not into doing this stuff all the time, like the UFC or even like PFL or anybody like that.
Look at what happened when Netflix tried to go live the first couple times.
Yeah, that was a fucking nightmare.
Right.
But so what they had happen was they actually had a visual of all the teams that got leaked. Yep. So, and that's basically because they started the stream too early. They did what I did a couple weeks ago, which was start the stream instead of just create the stream.
Yep.
So like,
yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah. So that's just something that happened with them. So they, unfortunately, people are like, yeah, it was rigged because they already had the order. So they tried to switch it up on the fly. They tried to do it live and have things get changed up with the orders and stuff, but we still knew in the end what was happening.
And the website even says in no particular order in like big bold letters.
Even though
that part. It's like, no order whatsoever. And there's only 3 women's divisions, there's 3, 6, 7 men's divisions. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of broke down all the divisions and stuff in the last podcast.
Yep.
So you can go back and check that out from last week, just as a preview and stuff to the draft. And so now I just wanted to break down and take a look at the teams and how they panned out. So that's where we're going to start with the LA team, who we got represented here. And as you can see, there's a big X and a question mark over Rashad Evans. So that's one of the things I wanted to bring that up right away. That's one of the things that happened with this league is that apparently they were working with management teams and representation of the fighters and not directly with the fighters on all accounts. So some of these guys were told that, or they were told that these guys were in by their management teams and agents and stuff. Turns out they weren't really in. And Rashad Evans is one of them.
Jump the gun.
So unfortunately, seems to be out of the GFL. He does have a big boxing match coming up with Rampage Jackson. They're boxing in some kind of exhibition or some shit. So that's pretty big because, they fought in the past and stuff like that. And they've always wanted to do it again. They had bad blood on season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter. If you remember, Rampage busted that door with like some elbows and some kicks. Because, Rashad pissed him off and they lost and some other shit happened.
He was on a rampage.
He was for sure. And that was one of the most iconic fucking scenes from The Ultimate Fighter. So they have history and stuff like that. And I got the hiccups. So
damn salts.
The drink too. But
what drink?
Oh, yeah. You want a tea?
It's that good.
You want a tea or are you good
in
for
a minute.
now?
Okay. I'll get one in a minute.
So this is what they wound up with for Los Angeles. I don't know who's taking the place of Rashad Evans unless they get him to come back in. Their first event is supposedly going to be in April. He's also fighting. I think he's fighting in March or something like that. It's before April or right around there. They're not going to fight everybody right away. So it's like he still could be a part. Nobody knows why this all happened. It's just some weird shit. So anyway, I crossed him out and put the question mark there because we don't know. And it was kind of a bad blood type thing that happened there, so it kind of sucks. But other notable fighters on this team, Frank Mir, Andre Arlovsky, 2 legends of the game, 2 guys that were in the UFC for a long time, 2 former champions. Both of them had their heyday. Arlovsky was knocking people out left and right. And Frank Mir was snapping people's arms. So both of them.
Yeah, he's brutal.
Yeah, ex-UFC champions for the heavyweight division there. Dawoon Jung, not sure who that is really, but you got Uriah Hall in the middleweight division and Grant Neal, both ex-UFC fighters. Lorenz Larkin, he was in the UFC and he was in Bellator. Sage Northcutt was in the UFC at one point, in one championship at another. He got his face completely mangled and broken, which sucks for him, so we'll see how he bounces back. Then you got Tony fucking Ferguson, El Kukui, who said, He put one glove down in the octagon and said, I'm half retiring because I don't know what I'm gonna do for now, but the UFC is done for me. And so they let him go, and now he's gonna try his hand in the GFL. You got Chad Mendez, ex-UFC fighter. Uriah Hall. I mean, I'm sorry, Uriah. I looked at Uriah Hall, but it's Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber, the California kid, fucking coming out of retirement. He's almost 50.
Yeah, he's
and
up
this
there.
motherfucker is gonna fight in the GFL. Like, what are we doing?
He needs some money and some points.
I don't think he needs the money. He owns a lot of shit. He's the type of guy that just wants to fight because he's always in shape. So
all right,
the money's the money. I highly doubt that they went to him. I'm pretty sure he was like, oh, let me see. I'll come back.
We'll see.
Yeah,
because that's points based, right?
What do you mean?
The GFL, isn't that points based as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he wants to climb that ladder.
What do you mean?
Like
for a championship?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't think he'll get there.
Yeah.
But...
No, I'm sorry. I got mixed up with money and points. I was like, what are we talking about?
No, the points.
Yeah. So then we got Ray Borg fought in the UFC. Aspen Ladd, couple different organizations. Leslie Smith was in the UFC. Alimale McFarlane was a champion in Bellator for a long time. Cynthia Calvillo, Corey McKenna, and Jessica Penne. 90% of this team right here is from the UFC. So then we got Team Dubai. Oh shit! Did I really mess that up?
LA.
Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah,
it's the delay. Yeah. So I have it up on the TV up there just because I wanted to have that going as well. But we got Todd Duffy in the heavyweight division. Other notables: Derek Brunson, Luke Rockhold, ex-UFC champion, and he fought in a couple other places too. Strikeforce back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Tyron Woodley was the #1 overall pick. He was an ex-UFC champion.
Yep.
And he's been all over the place. He fought Jake Paul a couple times, made some money there, but got knocked the fuck out too.
Yeah, he got his face beat off, but he still got money.
Let's see who else. See a lot of these guys here for Team Dubai, who by the way is being managed by Cain Velasquez and his wrestling coach Javier Mendez. So that's the coach and the manager of this team. Let's see who else. Randy Field. She's been around for a while. Jessica Aguilar's been around for a while, but that's about it. That's about it for notables on this team. Let's go to London team. We got Alexander Gustafsson, ex-UFC or UFC contender. He fought for the championship twice. A lot of people think he beat John Jones at one point in time. It
questionable.
It was questionable, but it was a damn close fight. Alir Latifi was a beast in UFC. Tanner Bozer, he's been around for a while. Gegard Mousasi was not a champion in the UFC, but a contender for sure for a long time. And then he was also a Bellator champion. Who else we got? Benson Henderson was an ex-champion in the UFC. He's fighting in the lightweight division. Brett Johns was big in Bellator. Let's see who else. Penny Kanzad just came from the UFC. She just got released not that long ago, and now she's over here. Julia Budd is a pioneer in women's MMA. And then we got Josephine Knudsen just came from the UFC. And I think that's it really for notables on that team. Then we get to Miami. So this team is pretty stacked too.
Yeah,
I mean, starting off with Junior Dos Santos, who was an ex-UFC champion, and he held that title for a while. So he's fighting in the heavyweight division. We got Robelis Despain, who just came from the UFC, just got released after a couple of losses in a row. He fought in Karate Combat too and beat some ass in there. Pretty quick knockouts. So he's coming from that. Thiago Santos, a contender in the UFC. Felipe Lins in the UFC from before. Yoel Romero, we remember him.
Huh. I didn't realize Cat was in this too.
Yeah, Hector Lombard, both in the middleweight division. Gleison Tebow was in the UFC for a long time. Anthony Pettis, former UFC champion, fighting in the lightweight division. Jeremy Stevens, who just won in the BKFC against Eddie Alvarez, he's fighting in the lightweight division. Charles Rosa came from the UFC. Marlon Moraes was a contender for a long time in the UFC. Kat Zingano, UFC.
Yep. Paige.
Paige Van Zandt. And look at the strawweight division. is the OnlyFans division.
It is. I was just thinking that. I was like, I just stopped at Paige. I was like, wait a minute.
Hannah Goldie just got out of the UFC not too long ago,
Yeah.
and Paige Van Zandt, and they did a collab on OnlyFans as well. So yeah, go check that out.
Yeah, that part.
And their Instagrams are fun too, so you can go check that out.
IG?
But Kat
Got it.
Zingano was a contender for a long time in the UFC with a couple fights against. She beat Amanda Nunes, who was a champ, double champ in the UFC.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the notables for that team, and then we end up with the New York team, and there's a couple big names going on in here, and so this is kind of why, if you notice the way that a lot of these rosters were structured, it makes sense to the region that they train in. So that's why a lot of people were like, this was predetermined. And the New York one, the New York one was the most like obvious because you have Kevin Lee.
Right. Miami is pretty obvious too.
Alexei Olenek. Actually, Miami is probably really, really obvious because they all train at American Top Team.
There it is.
Yeah. So let's see. Owen St. Preux fought for the belt in the UFC. Devin Clark was in the UFC. Chris Weidman, former UFC champ, he's one of the ones that left the UFC. He retired in the UFC, made sure to say that during his retirement, and then turns around and comes into the GFL right away off of his retirement from the UFC. Phil Haas was in the UFC. Fucking bitch ass Dylan Dennis, this punk ass motherfucker.
How do you really feel?
Dude, I can't stand him, man. I don't even know how this is gonna play out, but I hope he gets his ass whooped. And they're talking about matching him up with Tony Ferguson right off the bat.
Word?
Yeah.
Well,
So that would be sick because I think Tony Ferguson needs a good win, and that little bitch is an easy one for him, I think. Or at least it'd be a good fight.
it'll be
Because
entertaining.
He has no striking, and Ferguson can can scrap. So and they both have really good jiu-jitsu. So that would be a fun fight.
Yep.
Neiman Gracie, you got a Gracie name going on in the GFL. Kevin Lee, like I said. Kai Kamaka came from the UFC. Lance Palmer was big in Bellator and the PFL. Jimmy Rivera in the UFC for a long time. Holly Holm, former UFC champion in the women's bantamweight division, who had that big head kick knockout over Ronda Rousey.
That's what I just keep picturing that.
Yep, pretty much wrapped up her career.
Knocked her attitude down.
Yeah, and that about B Wen. She's been around in MMA for a long time. She never made it to the UFC. Another OnlyFans girl who is not shy. So yeah, go check that out.
You can see it in her eyes.
But yeah, those are the teams. The breakdown of the teams for the GFL. Their first event's going to be happening in April, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that and see how far this goes because they're paying. That's a lot of big names. You heard everybody I listed off and they're at what they did and how they did it and where they were from and what champions and all that shit. So they got paid.
Oh yeah.
So is this league sustainable? That's the question. Are they going to be able to put on multiple events? Are they going to be able to put on enough events to keep the people's interest? So they have a whole team structure. Like you said, they're going off of points.
Yeah.
As it is a point system. But they seem to have a lot of great matchups that can be made. So they do not have to train in the cities that they are a part of for their team. So if they're part of Team Dubai, they don't have to be in Dubai. If they're part of London, they don't have to be in London. But as you can see, a lot of the teams are structured with a lot of players in that team that are already based out of these areas.
There's some names in there. We don't have a date yet, right? I saw April.
April is the only thing they've said.
Okay,
yeah,
April 2025. Yeah, I didn't see anything else either. I was just looking right now.
So they don't have a hard and fast date yet, but
because the draft was just last week on the 24th, I believe.
25th, I think.
4th, 5th, something like that. Yeah. But then April, and I don't see a date yet, so I'm like, all right, got it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think they wanted to get the draft over with and see how that went.
Yeah, there's some names in there. That's for damn sure. Some money in there too. I'll take one of those while you're at it.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, sir. I'll just have that on standby. That way, the 2-hour trip back, I have to stop on the side of the road.
Yeah. So, damn, that thing popped all over the place.
I saw that. I was like,
I'm gonna have to clean that up later. My dogs will be in here licking up the mat. Yeah, that's kind of why I left this in here.
No, it's dope.
Because it kind of makes sense, The
dogs will be running around sideways, but that'll be all right. They won't bark at me. Or growl and run away with the tail wagging.
Yeah. Yeah, so that wraps it up for the GFL. We'll see what they have to come. It'd be nice for this to be successful, at least moderately. to see the fighters have another place to go, another source of revenue somehow to be able to bring in money and have a way to combat the UFC and their contracts so that they don't have a monopoly over everybody.
Or is it where they go to die? Like the end of your career,
that's the thing.
Is that going to set the precedent?
Everyone's already saying this is where you go to die.
Right.
So where UFC fighters go to die. That's what Bellator used to be. The PFL is not really that right now, but they also call BKFC that because they have, older MMA UFC fighters that win over
crossovers.
There. So it's like, who knows? Who cares? I just want to see it happen, and I want to see it be good. Just to have something else to watch and something else to cover, especially here for me, this is content. So I appreciate it. And also just have something good for the fighters to be able to make more money. The more competition, the more money.
Yeah.
And the UFC welcomes it. So
that's what they're born to do.
Yeah.
So.
If you can't get into contract disputes with two different people, then, the UFC can just choose to pay you as little as they want, and you got to deal with it. If
Which
you want
they
to fight.
have been. That's part of the problem.
It's better than it used to be, but still, still a problem.
If I'm getting a beating twice a year, I want some money.
Yeah.
Because half of that's going right back into your team.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always obviously you got to work your way up just like everything else. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get paid a shit ton but still to put your body and brain on the line like that, you should be starting at a good wage. So,
right. Because medical bills, your team, your trainers, your nutritionists, half that money goes right back out the door.
Yeah. Unless you're one of those guys that's just fighting out of your own gym.
Well, there's so few of those, though.
Garage. There's not too many people that do that anymore.
Right. Not anymore. Yeah, not at this level.
And then, the UFC combats that by saying, hey, they have the UFC PI. That's free. But see, we've already heard about fighters not being able to go because their opponent's there, or because they have beef with somebody and they don't want the problems, or because somebody with a bigger name is there and they don't want to accommodate the smaller guy.
Exactly.
So there's problems with that still. So while they offer that kind of shit, it's not really the most ideal thing.
They just offer because it sounds good.
Yeah.
You have this opportunity. You didn't take it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds real corporate to me.
It does, and everything falls that way when you wind up having a big corporation and company like this. But, you still got to look out for the people that are putting their life and their brain on the line.
Which is all of them.
Yeah.
Even the little guys are still doing what they do.
Exactly. That's why the starting pay should be way better than like 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Exactly.
Especially when they don't get a chance to fight that many times. The smaller guys with the smaller names, they'll jump in at any point in time because they have to.
Right. Any undercard they can get on.
Yeah. Yep. They don't get scheduled for all kinds of fights. There's too many. There's like 600 plus fighters on the UFC roster.
Right.
So.
And what, 2 fights a month maybe?
No. Well, no. There's like a fight every weekend. So.
Well, but I'm saying like as far as like major ones.
Oh, pay-per-views? Yeah. No, it's 1 a month.
Is it 1?
Yeah. But they have fight nights every other week. So that's how they can have that many people on the roster. But it's still not ideal.
You can't live that way.
No.
Not for long.
No. So, yeah, that's it for the GFL. Those are all the teams. Go back to last week's episode if you want to see the full breakdown of how the structure of the organization is going to be, along with the tiers of, championship, your way to get to the championship and all that good stuff. So let's move on to some other news happening. Paul brothers back in the news. And that's because they put out this tweet. They both put it out, and it's basically showing them face to face, like on a face off, if they're going to fight with. I mean, it's a kind of a cool graphic, it shows the American flag kind of lit up in the background, and it says March 27th on Max, and Jake Paul says the moment you've waited a decade for, March 27th on stream, on Max. So the thing is, they were putting out videos all over the place of stuff from back in the past where they've talked about fighting each other. How Jake said, well, I don't want to fight my brother because I don't want him to feel bad when he loses. and
they both have the same mentality.
And,
so
and Logan Paul says, I don't want to be the one that kills my brother's career in boxing. So they have all these videos going back and forth talking about how they're going to fight each other and stuff like that. So everyone was all over the place. Since this got posted yesterday. Yeah. They said they were going to be live today on Instagram to talk about what was happening.
I didn't see it. Did you?
It didn't go live.
I didn't think so.
What went live was them Okay, so first off, absolutely everybody was, posting about the fact that they were fighting.
Of course, but that's their marketing machines.
Exactly.
I've said it a million times.
But I'm like, wouldn't you think that? So here's the thing. Ironically, I did it too. Are the Paul brothers fighting? I did it on purpose because I thought it was funny. I'm gonna be a troll like they are, and I'm gonna sit here and act like that's what we're gonna talk about. But that's not what's happening. What they announced earlier today, is that they're doing a Kardashian style fucking reality show. They're calling themselves the Violent Kardashians or something.
They already are a Kardashian show.
Yeah.
They've been that for a minute. He started off on YouTube, right?
Yeah, both
doing
of them.
stupid shit.
Both of them.
Yeah, they had money back then, so money makes money.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep. So now that's what they're doing. It's called American Paul or something like that.
Oh my God.
And yeah.
All I could think of was American Pie, and you can figure that out.
Yeah. So no, they're not fighting. To answer the question, all over the place.
They never
They
were.
are not fighting. And you know what's funny? I made a TikTok like less than an hour after they released this, and it was like, that meme that's been going around. No, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not.
Yep.
That's what I did
Yep.
on TikTok and I put, are the Paul brothers fighting?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
That's kind of like that Snoop thing when he said he was going to stop smoking.
Yeah.
To sell them damn grill or the outdoor thing. It's the same thing.
Exactly. So they're full of shit, and we would,
As usual.
we kind of knew. I
As
knew.
usual.
And Ariel Hawani kind of released it a little bit on his show yesterday because they were live when this went live, and when they posted this, and Ariel was like, "Here's the thing, I know what's happening, but I can't say anything." So he kind of left it open, But it's like, but he said, "I do know they're not fighting." That's what he said. And it's just
that's
okay.
the whole. That was their whole.
Yeah, so it's like,
skit.
all you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is pay attention. And
Look at them.
Yeah, this is what they do. They troll you this way. They reel you in with some shit. Just like
It's WWE. He's a born actor.
one of them's legit in the WWE.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No, I
Yeah.
said that on purpose.
Yeah.
That's all acting.
Right.
You know what you're going to do before
And
you get out there.
Jake Paul's a fucking troll, but
As
he's
usual.
damn good at marketing, and he's damn good
he's
at
good at what he
putting
does.
things out there.
He's good at what he does.
And so is Logan. And that's the thing, is they have this beef, and they'll drag this shit out as long as possible. Not beef. They have this thing. It's this thing around them that people want them to have the beef and actually fight because
And they
both
know it.
Yeah, and because they both have boxed, they
Yep.
both have boxed really high level boxers with names at least. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but that's the thing. They're keeping
doubt
everybody
it.
wanting it to happen. So, and that's
That's
just
marketing.
that's just
We're sitting here
keeping-
talking about it right now.
Exactly.
It worked.
Exactly. So you can't hate on them, but I'm just
I can.
I'm speaking the truth.
I can hate on
And
them.
the truth is this is what they do. So don't get too excited when you guys see things out there. Don't be so vulnerable and gullible, because it's never true. You always have to look at what's actually happening in the background when it comes, especially Jake Paul. But Logan Paul, he's goofy, and he'll kind of lead it on, so you know that it's not really happening. Jake Paul will really play into it because he kind of has that mean like little bit behind him, but he's just a straight troll. So
I say follow the money.
yeah,
Just like anything else, follow the money.
I would do it too. So I can't.
Oh,
hate
I
on
would
it.
talk shit. I would talk shit to you right now for a third of what they're making.
Right?
I'll flip this table over. I'll buy you another one after the camera's on.
Exactly. You want a new setup? I'll
Right.
get it.
Fuck your couch. Rich motherfucker, buy a new one.
That shit's funny.
It's all marketing.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah. And and it is content for other people, including me.
Yeah.
So that's why, I was like, okay, we got to talk about this because it's everywhere. Everyone's like, the Paul brothers are fighting March 27th.
Right.
All you got to do is realize, look at a fucking calendar. March 27th is a goddamn Thursday. You think the Paul brothers are going to
Right.
do anything on a Thursday?
Right.
No, not a big event. They're not going to fight on a Thursday. They're
Not
going to
even
fight
a
on a
thought.
fucking Saturday.
Or Sunday. But, well,
No.
if it's in Dubai or something.
Saturday's the day.
But I'm saying, like, you know how the other countries,
But
it might
when's
be
it-
like 1 a.m. or
But
something.
when's it
stupid
going to
shit.
be broadcast in the U.S.?
Oh, here?
Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday, exactly.
Saturday.
So no matter what, however you look at it, they're not going to do it on a Friday. They're not going to do it on a Sunday. They're going to do it on a Saturday.
We're actually not going to do it.
They're not going to do it. That's really the point. So
They're not going to do it.
when it comes down to it, that's how it goes, and that's why I had to talk about it, to make fun of them, talk shit about them, and join in on the troll fun, I guess.
I'm laughing.
So
I'll be laughing all the way home too.
let's hit up the real shit, the BKFC,
There it is.
because Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is fucking crazy, man. And they have an event every year called Knucklemania, and this one did not disappoint. They fucking go at it. It's bloody. People get hurt. People get knocked the fuck out. And yeah, it's entertaining as shit. So I covered all of it last week with a little bit of a preview. You know, I don't know a lot of the names on the card, but I knew the top 3 fights happening.
Stevens.
Yeah, Jeremy Stevens versus Eddie Alvarez, Mick Terrell versus Ben Rothwell, and Taylor Starling versus Beck Rawlings, aka the matchup of OnlyFans for the night.
Pretty much. Beck has done a lot of shit before it was famous, though. Beck Rawlings?
With
For
OnlyFans?
probably.
See what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, me too now. Nah, with the bare knuckle stuff.
Oh yeah. She was like
She's got YouTube videos all over the
I
place.
think she might have been the first champ in bare knuckle.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
brutal.
But she was big in the UFC too. Like, I mean, she didn't do well as far as record goes.
Yeah.
Like against Paige Van Zandt, she got fucking.
Well, I mean, Paige is seasoned, though.
Paige was not a great fighter in the UFC.
Well, compared to Beck.
Beck was a vet compared to Paige when they were in the UFC. So
What happened?
Paige fucking jump kicked her in the face.
I rest my case.
No, that was anyway. She was fighting Taylor Starling, and that was a fucking battle. But I mean, all these fights were crazy. Ben Rothwell wins quickly and gets the title there. But I have some visuals, so let's take a look at the brutality. But first, let's start with the mascot of BKFC, also aka known as part owner of the BKFC, Conor McGregor. He's all over the place. He's out of fucking control, and he has history with one of the guys from the main event. Both of them, actually, but Eddie Alvarez is who he beat in the UFC to win the lightweight championship and become double champ. One of the few, actually the first person to hold a belt consecutively in 2 divisions. And then Jeremy Stevens, he's got beef with him because of who the fuck is that guy? That's who he was talking about in the press conference, was Jeremy Stevens. And then he talked shit about his mom. So
Please tell me you got that clip.
I don't.
When he was hyped up?
No.
Oh.
You're talking when they were face to face?
Yeah.
I have a visual. I didn't get the clip because
it might get dinged.
Can't show everything.
It was pretty dope though.
But yeah, it was a little cringy though, but we'll get to that. As you can see here, Conor McGregor, Conor was in regular Conor form, smoking, drinking, and just fucking snowed out of his brain. So, yeah, I just had to point that out there because Conor was everywhere, all over this fucking thing. He was going insane at the weigh-ins. He was going insane at the face-offs, at the press conference, just everywhere. So... But here's the women's fight. We had Taylor Starling getting her legs in on Beck Rawlings. It was a pretty good back and forth fight for the most part, but Beck came out on top and she did the most. And Taylor, I saw a video on Instagram of Taylor Starling from the day after, and holy shit, her face was mangled.
Swole up.
Mangled.
Yeah. And bare knuckle.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see in these pictures too that Beck is busted up too.
Yeah.
But I mean, Beck in the end got the win. And actually she got a unanimous decision win over Taylor Starling in the women's I believe that's flyweight division. So I mean, it was a pretty exciting fight though, and that's what's crazy is even the women in the smaller divisions have crazy bloody fights, but it's bare knuckle, and that's what you got to expect. So we move on to the big boys. And you got Big Ben Rothwell getting the best of Mick Terrell. I think it's Terrell. I keep going back and forth on that because I'm just like, fuck, I don't even know who this guy is. I just know he was the champ in the heavyweight division for BKFC. And Big Ben was a really good fighter in the UFC for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he actually fought in the IFL, which everyone's comparing the GFL to, because the IFL was the first organization. No, it was the first organization that had the team, like,
the dynamic.
Teams. Yeah, so like that kind of structure. So and it got fairly big for a little while. They were selling a lot of merch. There was a lot of interest in it, but it died out.
It's new. It was new and shiny.
Yeah. And I mean, people weren't as skeptical of new things back then. It was more
Right.
like, ooh,
What's this?
yeah, another thing where people are kicking each other's ass.
Right. Yeah.
So they had a lot of names. A lot of great fighters came out of the IFL. Big Ben being one of them. But yeah, he came in and got a first round finish. 36 seconds into the first round.
Dude fell hard.
Big KO with that big right hand you see there. And as you can see, these motherfuckers are huge.
Yeah. He felt like no hands, just
Oh yeah, just out cold.
sacrifice.
So Big Ben becomes the new champ of the BKFC, and of course Connor had to get involved, but they parade Connor around because he does have ownership in the company. It's the star power. He brings eyes, and he's crazy, and he's just nonstop. So of course Connor's in there acting like he just fought.
Of course.
Yeah.
All hyped up.
Yeah. So, but look, I mean, Ben's big, but I mean, the owner is Dave Feldman, I think is his name.
Dave Feldman.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's who Connor said that to tell everybody that he was
Yes.
going to fight. Yeah.
Yes.
Even though he can't, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Legally, he can't do it. But I mean, Ben is untouched because it was 36 seconds and he got the win.
look at his hand and Connor's face. That's
Yeah.
just like a frying pan to the snout.
Connor's hand only looks bigger because he's closer to the camera.
Right. But I mean, if you look at his hand, that's a whole torso right there.
I actually listened to a podcast with Dave Feldman on it.
Yeah.
Where he was on the Ariel Helwani show and he was talking about BKFC and stuff, but he went to prison back in the day because he fucking he basically almost killed the guy that beat his mom.
Can't say I blame him.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Matter of fact, what was that Luigi dude or whatever?
Yeah.
I put them in the same category.
right.
It had to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But then we get to the main event where we had the Underground King Eddie Alvarez, the Philly boy. This was happening in Philadelphia, and Jeremy Stevens came out fucking ready to go, talking mad shit, talking about Philly being like a worthless place and everybody's a bunch of fucking losers. And that's just because he's just playing the heel. But that didn't
work out well.
It didn't work out well for him as far as popularity went, but the fight worked out well for him because he
TKO.
he got the corner stoppage finish against Eddie Alvarez, who was the hometown boy.
Yep.
2 minutes into the third round, and he got the stoppage because Eddie was beat the fuck up.
Yeah, he gave him the business.
Yeah. So I mean, as you can see there, they're both bloody. Good exchange there. Big right hand by Jeremy Stevens.
Smack him.
Yeah, and Eddie Alvarez, I mean, he's a great fighter, but even when he got into the UFC, he was already at that point where you're like, how much longer is this guy gonna go? and he won the championship and all, and he did well, but he didn't start off good in the UFC. His first couple fights were rough.
I didn't even pay attention to the first one.
Yeah. So then, I mean, because he came from Bellator, he was a champ over there. He had crazy fights with Michael Chandler and shit.
Yeah.
But it's just he came over, he got the championship, and then he lost it right away to Connor. So and never got back to it.
Connor was at his peak then.
Yeah,
too.
that was definitely Connor at his peak.
Yeah, that was the Connor that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeremy gets the win here. But man, the tough thing about this is why it got stopped by the corner, because Jeremy put that left hand up right on his jaw, and as you can see, no, it's on his jaw. See that broken?
His jaw?
Yeah. The bottom right there.
Oh yeah, I see
that
it.
bottom left corner. You see the break in his jaw.
I see it. Oh God, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, so Eddie got his jaw broken, and what's crazy is that Jeremy was like, "Hey, what'd he say? He said something like, your fists may make people bleed, but mine break jaws, and I'm gonna break your fucking jaw." Yeah, and he pulled that shit through. So, and you can see in this picture, if you look close enough at the top right corner, it says Edward Alvarez. So this is 100% his fucking x-ray. And I mean, he posted it and there was a video. They actually did the whole 360 spin on his cranium there. But you can see that break from multiple angles. It's pretty nuts.
That looks like drinking out of a straw.
Yeah. But they're fucking savages. Yeah. But then we get the craziness of Conor Oh, you got to be shitting me. Oh, I know why. There we go. I forgot about the picture showing respect. Both these guys after talking mad shit to each other.
Well, he wasn't saying much after
battling it out. Yeah,
his jaw was on.
Yeah, which sometimes they're a little bit on the just kind of butthurt side, so they're not going to give each other that respect, but they did.
Oh, yeah.
And Eddie still showed respect because he's classy like that.
If someone did my jaw like that, I can't say I'm that good a Christian.
Right? Now we get to the craziness of the face-off. So Jeremy Stevens is doing his post-fight interview in the ring, and of course Conor's involved, and he said, you know, he basically calls out Conor because they had their beef in the past. Conor comes in like a coked out crazy ass and is like talking shit. Who the fuck is this guy? He says as he comes in, and they're getting all up in each other's faces. And the part that I meant was kind of cringy was fucking. So the thing that people talk about, but especially back in the day with the UFC and MMA fans and stuff like that, is that everyone always talks about the just bleed guy because there's always somebody in the crowd that's just saying just bleed. You know, it's just like fucking rip his head off, grab his nuts, and all this shit, right? And they make fun of that guy. Well, Jeremy Stevens in the midst of all this is just like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's make it bloody, just bleed. And he's like, fucking, oh, it's so like. It was almost like a sketch in a comedy show. Like you're just making fun of something, you know, like a parody. Oh my god!
They might have been put there just to say that. You never know.
No, this was definitely in the moment. And Jeremy Stevens, from what I heard of his interviews after in other podcasts, that's him. He just cringed like that. So
yeah, I didn't watch the other
but
ones.
he's making he's talking the big talk, and Conor tells Dave Feldman afterwards to make the fight. Conor comes in there saying, "What man is gonna stop me? No man can stop me." It's like, bro, you've been stopped.
Your contract stopped you, dum.
So Dana White's gonna stop your ass, and you're not gonna be able to fight.
He's got what, 2 fights left? I think
he's got 2 fights left on his contract for the UFC. And that's why the Logan Paul fight didn't pan out. The fucking KSI fight, all that shit. None of that's happening. So
he's so far out of it now, he'd get beat down by most people.
He needs to get that one fight and wrap it up and just say, hey, I'll give you one big one and let's get this shit over with. And then get his ass to the BKFC so he can really know how much he's out of the game.
Yeah, because go back to the movies, bro.
If he keeps fucking acting like he is now, he's not taking anything seriously. He's going to get his ass knocked out.
Smoking and drinking and shit. Like,
he says he can pull it together. A lot of people have talked about the fact that he's been training and looking a lot better. But as we saw here from last weekend on Saturday, smoking, drinking, out in public on camera.
In the damn,
He's going to BYU fucking basketball games, just acting a fool. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw the highlights. I saw enough. He ain't going to make it.
He went to some other I don't know.
You can't just quit when you've been going like this for years now.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had a fight? A couple years, right?
It's been it's been 4 years.
Yeah. Because he had the movie and some other little pop-ups.
He got hurt. So he was out for being hurt.
When his leg, his shin or whatever.
He broke his leg. So then.
And haven't really seen him since.
Yeah. And he hasn't fought since. And then, he did the movie while he was down and all that shit. So, yeah.
His ass cheeks hanging out. Yeah, I can't forget that bullshit.
So they had this face off, and he tells Dave Feldman, we're fighting. I'm going to fight Jeremy Stevens. Make the date. And Dave Feldman goes out there and says, this is exactly what Conor told me to tell you. I'm saying it because Conor told me to. And it's like, it's kind of a bitch move because he just like made himself sound like he didn't have any control.
They might have got paid. I don't know.
Say this. He does it so because it's publicity.
Yeah,
but
it's working.
Right. I mean, well, yeah, but I'm not. Anyway.
I mean, not just you, though. Other people are talking about it.
No, for sure. But yeah, the UFC's not going to let that happen. Dana's not going to let that happen. So in the end, it's all for fun. And we'll see if Conor winds up in the BKFC. But I don't know. It's highly doubtful. I'm not sure.
I'm betting against him if he does.
Yeah, me too. Because I don't know that but he could be like all these other guys who fell short in the UFC and then found like Mike Perry. And even though he's been big in the UFC, he's fallen off, and we all know that. So you never know. It could be where he gets
4 or 5 years.
It could be where he gets his resurgence.
We'll see. I'm still betting against him.
Yeah, no, I understand because I probably would too. But yeah, you never know. So, I mean, this might be what his crazy ass needs.
Oh, I'm sure it's what he needs.
He's so hyped about it. You would think that he's fighting every time he's on the stage.
Anybody can be humbled up by a good old-fashioned ass whooping. I don't care who it is.
Oh, yeah. That's 100% true.
Especially at that level.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the meat of this podcast. The UFC fight night going on this weekend. UFC Saudi Arabia. Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. And then we got Shar Bullet Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page.
Oh yeah,
Man,
MVP.
these are two fucking great fights at the
Yeah.
top of this card. Israel Adesanya hasn't fought in a non-title fight since God knows when.
They were
It's been
chumming
the
it up just
longest.
before this too.
With
One of the
Imavov?
interviews.
No,
Adesanya.
with who?
Shit. I gotta look it up again.
Oh.
I think it was MVP that was chumming it up.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
somebody.
It was MVP because
Yeah.
they're friends. They're
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
So the funny story about this is that MVP is actually going up in weight to fight
Yeah.
Shar Bullet because Bullet was calling out Adesanya after his last fight.
Yep.
And Michael Venom Page comes out and goes, "Hey, leave my boy alone.
Yeah,
Let me fight you."
That's
And that's how this fight came about.
I
Which
remember
is
that.
crazy because that's kind
It
of
was
shit
pretty
doesn't-
dope though, the way they were talking.
Yeah.
Like they were just sitting there shaking hands and like, yeah, like we're going to Raising Cane's after this, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, they're boys, and I think Adesanya was like, "Yeah, I got goosebumps, man, after I
Yeah,
saw you
that-
do
he
that
did
shit."
say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I actually reposted that video.
Oh,
on
did you?
TikTok,
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I got goosebumps, bro.
Yeah, so that's Adesanya though. He's cool like that, and when he's friends with you, he's loyal. I mean, look. I mean, the wholesome shit that happened with Robert Whitaker. They had bad blood. They fought
Yeah.
each other and stuff like that, and then they're out here training and having fucking coffee and tea together and shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if you over here trying to kill me in public. I'm not that cool.
Yeah, there's some guys that can separate that kind of shit. There's other, they
Yeah.
both do it for money, and some of these guys have to hate the other guy in order to fight him, and then afterwards it's all good.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I mean that's cool that you could do that. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
But it's cool
it's
they can
tough.
do that. Like if someone's just putting hands on face, bruh,
Yeah,
we're not going to dinner after this.
yeah. So this is actually on paper feels like a bigger fight card than UFC 312.
There's some names in there.
312 just has the two title fights at the top. Everything else, it could be a fight night,
Yeah,
and we got to pay $80 to see it. So
some people.
yeah, that kinda sucks. I pay for all of them,
I
unfortunately,
didn't
but
say who. Some people.
it's definitely me. Let's take a look at these prelims, though. Starting off at the bottom.
Now we're here.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt to say homeboy's name, but maybe I will. Abdelwahab, something
Which
like
one?
that. Hamdi, the guy in the bottom,
Oh,
3-0 against Jamal Plagues, I think, with his funky ass hair. He's 11-4. That's starting off the card there in the early prelims. Then you got Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. 14-2 for Grad, 8-4 for Alexander. This is a good fight. Jasmine Jasdavicius versus Mayra Buena Silva. Buena Silva was supposed to be fighting for the title, and then she had some shit go on and wound up not fighting. And then I think she might have got popped for something too. She dropped dirty, I think.
I don't remember her.
But yeah, now she's way down in the prelims and fighting. But Jasmine Jasdavicius is fucking. She is. I mean, vicious is something that's kind of in her name there, and she definitely is that.
The record shows it.
Yeah, she's got great wrestling. She's fucking. She's aggressive, and she always has a good fight. So that's gonna be a good one to watch there in those early prelims. And then we get to the rest of the prelims here. Terrence McKinney is a badass. He knocks people out or he gets knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, he's been getting knocked out recently. But he's fighting Damir Hadzovic and in the lightweight division. So that's going to be a fun fight just because, like I said, Terrence McKinney, you're either like, holy shit, because he got knocked the fuck out, or you're like, holy shit, because he knocked somebody the fuck out.
There's not much in between for that dude.
No, not at all. And I mean, he's 15-7 versus Hadzovic, who's 14-7. So similar records there in the lightweight division. That should be a good one. You got Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Peterson happening in the heavyweight division. Gaziev is 13-1 versus Peterson, who's 9-2. So that should be a good one there. But Peterson looks like, I don't know if you've seen that dude. He looks like this actor that
Fucking no neck having ass.
yeah, I wish I
Look at
could.
that shit.
I can't even think. Oh, have you seen Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
So the goofy
I
dude
fell asleep, but
the
yeah.
goofy dude with the headband and the mustache.
Sounds familiar.
kind of fat dude, roly-poly guy who says he's like the best at everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was trying to get into Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Older guy.
Yep.
That's who he looks like. That actor. It's fucking
Dude looks like a
hilarious.
refrigerator with a head stuck on top of
He
it.
does.
Oh, square ass.
But Gaziev is dope. So, I mean, that should be a decent fight in the heavyweight division there.
The power of the beard.
And then you got Mohammed Naimov versus Khan Ofli.
I don't know either of them.
Yeah, I've seen both of them fight recently. I mean, obviously, I recognize the names because I cover all these guys, so some of these names stick with you a little bit. But you got 11-3 for both of those guys with their records there, so that should be a pretty good fight, pretty evenly matched. And then we'll get to the main card. I always say the main event. God damn it. Main
Might just
card.
roll with it.
Faraz Saim versus Mike Davis. This is going to be a fucking hell of a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because Zaim, I think I said Zaim, but Zaim,
Yep.
he was the guy that fucking, I actually made some TikToks. That's the one that got me my strike on YouTube.
Oh, that's what did it?
Yeah. Because he had this viral knockout with this crazy flying knee that fucking knocked out Matt Frivola.
Ooh.
Holy shit. And I have a still that I'm going to show in a minute, but and it is from that fight. It's just not the exact moment of impact because I couldn't find any good ones of that. But he knocked out Frivola out cold.
Just play a clip of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it looked like. That was crazy. I mean, that got me some views on my shorts, but then yeah.
Yeah, I got views, all right.
Zion 16-4 overall, 6-2 in the UFC, 5-0 in KO TKOs, 5-3 in sub, 6-1 by decision. He's on a 4-fight win streak, but so is Mike Davis, who puts up a good fight there too. 32 years old for him, 4-1 in the UFC, 7-0 by KO TKO. So neither one of these guys has ever been knocked out or technically knocked
Davis,
out.
I got 11-2-0. Yep.
Yeah. So, and then zions 2-1 and decisions 2-1 for Davis. So pretty similar records there, pretty evenly matched. But Zion with that last knockout, holy shit, it's hard to forget that one. So that's something we're going to be looking forward to. Should be a good one. And here is those visuals I was talking about. There's a big knee from Zion at the top, and you could see how bloody Frivola was already, and that one was contributing to finally knocking him out with a big knee. And then Davis with the big kick to the head there. So both of them have some good striking. Should be a fun fight to start off the night for the main card.
Yep.
Moving over to the next fight, Said Nurmagomedov, no relation to Khabib or any of his cousins or anything like that, just has the same last name from the same area, versus Vinicius Oliveira, or Lock Dog. That's his nickname.
Lock Dog.
Yeah. But Nurmagomedov is 32 years old, 18-3 overall, 7-2 in the UFC, 4-0 by KO TKO, 6-0 by sub, 8-3 by decision. So as you can see, he's never been knocked out, never been submitted. That's pretty interesting considering Oliveira is 16-3 in KO TKOs. He's bbeen knocked out before, but he's got 16 fucking knockouts. I mean, that's a big difference there for Oliveira.
Yeah. I have him as 21-3.
21. Oh, yeah, for his record, but I'm talking about KO TKOs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's never been submitted and never lost by decision.
Yeah, he's putting hands on people.
Yeah, so he's on a 2-fight win streak. Nurmagomedov's only on a 1-fight win streak. So yeah, 21-3 overall for Oliveira, 2-0 in the UFC. So let's see if Said can give him his first loss in the UFC, or if Lock Dog comes out and does some crazy knee like this to Said. But of course, Nurmagomedovs, they all have that grappling wrestling.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. He's
got submissions too, as you can see, 6-0 there. But yeah, this should be a fun fight, I think. This is why. I mean, we've gone through 2 fights and we're like, yeah, these are gonna be fun fights already. And for the main card,
this will be entertaining.
This is what makes this card seem a hell of a lot better than the next pay-per-view. Let's move on to the big boys in the heavyweight division. We got Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I don't think they've fought before. I thought they had, but I think I might have been thinking of the other.
The Rozenstruik?
Yeah, I don't think they fought before. But Pavlovich is 18-3 overall, 6-3 in the UFC, 15 KO wins. No wins or losses by submission, and 3-1 by decision. He is on a 2-fight losing streak though, as opposed to Rozenstruik, who's on a 2-fight win streak. So that's a weird matchup there. But you got 2-2 by decision for Rosenstruck. He's been submitted once, doesn't have any submissions of his own, but he's 13-2 in KO TKOs. So 9-5 in the UFC and 15-5 overall. I mean, this should be a pretty fun fight with the big boys there.
Yeah,
but I should check real quick because I thought they maybe they fought before, but I might be thinking of
I don't have it here, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Doesn't. Yeah, maybe not. No, I guess not. I don't know who I was thinking of, but Rosenstruck, yeah, he hasn't fought him. So good fresh matchup there. And that brings us over to, I mean, as you can see, big heavy hitters. And they almost look like they're fighting the same guy in these two pictures. I didn't even realize that. I don't think it's the same guy, but that's pretty funny.
Number one rule of Fight Club.
Yeah. I like to always pick the pictures that show some action or maybe like crazy blood shots or something like that. But because I mean, it's so difficult. I used to play GIFs and stuff all the time, but then I'm getting, copyright bullshit.
I've been at home making dinner. I'm like, ooh, that looks nasty while I'm stirring.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's tough because I'm just like, man, I want to show some of the action, but I can't. So
everybody wants their money.
I don't know how everybody gets away with it when they do it, but yeah, whatever. All right, so let's move on to the co-main event. Shara Bullet Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page. And remember, this is happening in Saudi Arabia, so that's kind of why you see a lot of these names that end in V.
Well, the time's jacked up too.
Yeah, it's happening early in the
early
morning.
as hell.
Yeah.
It's like 10 or something?
I think so.
I don't know what time it is here, but I know it said 10 something. I read.
I'll check in a minute actually because I do want to see what time.
I want to see it, but
starting.
I'm not getting up for it.
I think the early prelims start at 7 a.m.
Yeah, they can have
so I'm pretty sure that means that the main event's probably at noon.
Noon?
Yeah, something like that. But I'll check in a minute actually because I
MVP
do want to make sure. But this should be a really fun fight for the co-main event in the welterweight division. We got the undefeated Shara Bullet Magomedov, 15-0 overall, 4-0 in the UFC. Obviously, he's got 12 wins by KO TKO, so that's his biggest amount of wins in all those categories. Never been submitted, never submitted anybody. 3 wins by decision. He's on a 4-fight win streak, but technically 15, obviously. I just count the ones in the UFC because that's all that matters in this
the cast.
For this
show.
So Michael Venom Page, though, 22-3 overall. 1-1 in the UFC, which I mean, he actually should almost be 2-0 because I feel like he could have won the fight that he lost against Ian Machado Gary.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of a toss up, but 12-1 by KO TKO, 4-0 by submission. So there's a good number to pay attention to there. He's only been KO'd once, but has the same amount of KOs as Shara Bullet. But he's got 4 submission wins, and Shara Bullet's never been submitted, but he's never submitted anybody either. So that's a good thing to look at when you're looking at Michael Venom Page with, he does have all that crazy striking, but he's got very long limbs, and he's got a good ground game too. So he's coming off that loss. He's 6-2 in the decision category, so winning record there for that. But
he's getting up there. He's about to join that GFL in a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking to see if he can make a decent run here in the UFC and see what he can do with that. Maybe get in contention here at some point. But Shara Bullet with the striking going on here. He's got the punches. He's got the kicks. He has dynamic striking. I mean, he does crazy shit too. Everything's a little bit unorthodox, especially how he won his last fight, which was that crazy double spinning back fist. So he spun and hit him with one and then spun back the opposite direction and hit him with the other and got the fucking knockout.
Lucky Charms looking
which is crazy. And not to mention, he's got that crazy eye because he's actually completely blind in one eye. Not exactly sure. I think he might even be fully missing it or some shit, but it's got that crazy look like a husky.
He's going to miss it after MVP hits him. His whole eye's going to go.
But he's making it work, but he only fights overseas, so that probably tells you something. He might not be able to get cleared in the U.S.
Not with one eye.
But we'll see. He's got a really gravelly voice, and he doesn't speak English, so it's it's rough when you listen to him. But it's kind of crazy. So but that double spinning back fist finish in his last fight is nuts. And he does have a lot of crazy finishes, and he's undefeated. So we'll see if MVP how he matches up against that and see if his striking can get it done. As you can see here with his big win over Kevin Holland.
He looks like an alien there.
Yeah,
everyone's fucking head.
Everyone's beating Kevin Holland, but unfortunately for him. But this was MVP's first fight, and yeah, I mean, he got the win over Kevin Holland there. You can see the crazy punch and that back elbow that he landed, which was pretty nice actually in the moment. And then you got this big chin shot here. Oh, did it not push? I don't know why my stream deck's been doing that, but there's that big shot against Ian Machado Gary. Winds up losing this fight, but he still caught Ian a couple times, made him look bad here and there, and proved that he was at his level, if nothing else. So look at how deformed his face looks. This is why I like some of the still frame pictures, though, because you can catch moments like that you don't see in real time. Yeah. And that brings us to the main event to wrap this all up. Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. I feel like this should be a good fight too, because Imavov's on a 3-fight win streak, and Adesanya, this is kind of a must win for him. I don't think the UFC would cut him if he loses this fight just because of his history and stuff, and he's in good standings with the UFC, and they've let a lot of people go a lot longer. Like Tony Ferguson went 8 fights losing streak, and they kept him in. So
I still put my money on Adesanya.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going for Adesanya here as well because he's just one of my favorite fighters. Even though he kind of fell off a little bit, I'm looking to see if he can get that resurgence, get back in the mix.
No, he's about to resurge in GFL.
No, I don't think he's that close yet. I think he'll retire before he, retire and be gone for a little bit before he decides to come back to something like that. But that's just my
start coaching someone's team.
He doesn't seem like the type. He hasn't shown a lot of that lately. So, but I mean, that's just what I think.
We'll see.
He's 35 years old, 24-4 overall, 13-4 in the UFC, 16-1 by KO TKOs, 0-1 by submission, which was his last loss that he lost to Dricus du Plessis by submission. And then he's 8-2 by decision, 2 losses in a row because he lost to Sean Strickland. And then he lost to Dricus, who are fighting in the next pay-per-view. So that's happening next week. Not this weekend coming up. Obviously, that's this fight, but the weekend after is the next pay-per-view. Yeah. Haven't decided yet if I'm doing a watch party because it isn't the greatest card.
For next week?
Yeah. I like the 2 fights at the top, but everything else is kind of like, I might take that week off. I'm not sure yet. I'll make up my mind before next week's episode. So... But Izzy's fighting Nasruddin Imavov on a 3-fight win streak, 15-4 overall, 7-2 in the UFC, 6-0 by KO TKO, so he's never been KO'd, 4-1 by submission, and 5-3 by decision. This is happening in the middleweight division. And here's some of Izzy's handiwork with the strikes. Big strikes against Alex Pereira. Even though he lost that first fight with that picture on top, he still got some good hits in on Alex. And then that's when he knocked him out with that big left in that bottom picture with that crazy celebration win that he did with the arrows and stuff, which is pretty sick. That was actually his last win. But
I did the
yeah. And so I just Izzy striking is fucking fun to watch. I mean, he even got some in on Dricus in that last fight, even though he lost. But yeah, that was when he actually lost it. Let's see. He lost the title to... Oh, yeah. He lost the title to Strickland. And then Strickland lost it to du Plessis. And then he fought for the title again against du Plessis. Yeah. I was getting my timeline mixed up.
I'm just listening like, huh?
Because he's wearing the black and gold, but that was just... He wasn't the champ because Dricus is wearing the green and gold.
Right.
So, yeah. That's what threw me off for a second. But those ugly gold gloves that will never be seen again. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They're even rubbing off.
They are. Yeah, it's horrible. So, luckily, we won't see those again. There's Imavov, though, with some big strikes of his own. That's the thing is he's got the striking. And, I mean, he's good overall. I just don't know that he's at the level of Adesanya, even though Adesanya's on a losing streak and hasn't been doing well. He's still Izzy.
That talent.
He's still Izzy. He's still the last style bender. So... when it comes down to it, Imavov can be on the biggest streak of his life and still not have what it takes to get through Izzy. But he does have the kicks. He does have the punches. His striking's great. And, you don't see Izzy go down to the ground a lot. But he did say one of the things that he's lacking in his career is getting that submission. He's been submitted once.
Yeah.
He's never submitted anybody. So he's looking for that. He does have a good ground game. He just doesn't show it a lot because he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't last that long.
yeah. So I guess we'll have to wait and see if he's going to put that on display. Depends on what Imavov does with him. So, but that's it for UFC Saudi Arabia. Check it out. Oh, actually, let me go.
10 a.m.
Is it 10?
That's what I'm seeing.
So,
but
yeah.
I don't know what time zone that is, though.
No, that's it. So if you go to UFC event and it brings it up like that,
Yeah.
so this time is always as long as you have your location turned on or
Yep,
somehow
that's
they
what I
know.
have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's 10 a.m. for the main card starting. There you go.
Yep.
The prelims start at 7 a.m. So I was a little bit off, but that's because there's not as many fights because there was actually a couple fights that dropped out.
And this is on which channel?
ESPN Plus.
Plus. Okay.
Yeah. That's where they usually are. So 7 a.m. for the prelims and then 10 a.m. for the main card. So go check that out. Should be a fun fight card. In the morning.
A lot of action to that part.
Yeah.
I got a gig that afternoon, so I'll get to see a little bit of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a DJ in the event.
Okay.
So
yeah, so that wraps that up, and that wraps up everything for us. I mean, it was a fun time. Shit.
I loved it.
Yeah. Good to be in person too. Something.
Oh yeah, it is. It's different. Like I can look at you and I can, you know what I mean? It's a different type of interaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, go check out Infinity's YouTube. Like I said, it's in the title, and I'll probably put a link at the bottom too after. And then check out any of his. You said you're gonna do something this weekend, right?
My goal is to do something this weekend. I think I'm going to. So my daughter's basically, I'm her chauffeur. But you know what that's like.
Yeah.
I'm a teenage daughter. But I'm gonna try and put out something about how to make a couple pennies on the dollar for small channels like us and other people that everybody else knows. Okay. Not the big guys that are sponsored by whoever. They got their own thing.
Yeah.
But like little people, you got 100 or less subscribers or even 200 or less.
Yeah.
I got some ideas that I just barely started, so I'll probably go over that. And maybe I can invite you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to work it out.
Can make that happen.
Sounds good. Okay. And then you got anything else you want to promote or anything like that?
Not really. Like I said, pay it forward. Like you never know what little thing you say or do can help someone else. Like it's that simple, regardless of your views and this climate we're in and everything else and all the words that are getting thrown around. Help somebody else. Be empathetic. Be a human.
Yeah. Go check
gotta
out.
go kiss nobody's ass, but
there's a big difference. And it takes a bit of maturity and a bit of intelligence to understand the difference between kissing somebody's ass and being a decent human being that is that can comment on things in a nice way, be generous to another person, and we all fuck around, we all give each other shit, but that doesn't mean we don't have love for each other and can't be a good friend and a good person to each other. So just remember that and try to keep it real and just do your best to be a decent person because this world is fucking crazy right now.
And shout out to the people that lost their lives over the Potomac.
Oh yeah, the crazy plane crash.
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy.
Whatever the reasoning, they're not here anymore. So
yeah, and that's the worst part about it. Who gives a shit about all the details? Because when it comes down to it, a lot of people lost their lives in something that everybody does on a daily basis, which is just flying in a plane. You're thinking you're getting somewhere. You're waiting to get off that plane.
Yep.
Some people are bitching and complaining about how long it took or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People are too worried about getting off the plane fast, and then you don't even get to the ground alive.
Moms, brothers, uncles, sisters. It meant something to someone.
Everything. Yeah. So that shit sucks, but hopefully everyone can heal quickly and just deal with their grieving and stuff. All that's gonna take time and effort, but heart goes out to all those people, man. It sucks.
Yeah, it'll come out in the wash.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, it'll come out in the wash. But
crazy turn of events. There's a lot of shit that goes on in this world that you can't explain or doesn't make sense, but in the end, you just got to keep living and try to be good. Try to be good to each other. So that's about it for us, though. Go check out Infinity's YouTube page. Go see his new intros that he's got going. His 2 podcasts that he's put out so far, part 1 and part 2 with what's her name?
Sinyan Shante. She's actually a book writer who I've known for over 20 years before she started doing that. So we got a little bit of history as friends and stuff.
And
I'm really cool with her husband and everything. So
yeah, and it's a good talks about relationships and how guys get along with girls and men and women, I should say. That sounds better, but
it's fun, candid.
Yeah, and you know, some interaction with the chat and stuff like that. So go check it out. Throw some comments in there. Let them know how you like it. Give them some feedback. Try to be nice. Constructive criticism only, not just criticism.
Do you, boo boo? But if you can do better, I'm watching.
Yeah. So go check it out, and there'll be more to come soon. I'll be jumping on with him, and we'll be doing a lot. So Technically Unsound Podcast, also live every Wednesday and Sunday, 8 p.m. Arizona time. You can see both of us there bullshitting and talking about all kinds of different stuff, as well as playing some fun games and shit like that. So, and some good banter. Exactly. And some good sound drops.
Oh, yeah.
So,
plenty of them.
go check that out every Wednesday and Sunday live. Come back here next week on Thursday, 7 p.m. Arizona time, and check out the recap of this weekend's fights, UFC Saudi Arabia, and a preview of UFC 312, the next pay-per-view. 2 title fights on the line. That's it for us. We're out of here. Take it easy.
Appreciate
Peace.
you. Thank you.